We are now going to proceed to our first panel. It's entitled Business Associations Perspective. Some of the panelists, as you see, will be physically present. Some of them will be virtually online. It will be moderated by Zenon Potichny. And who we have with us is Roman Kachur, alternate executive director of the World Bank, Halina Yanchenko, Secretary, National Investment Council at the President of Ukraine, Andy Hunder, President of the American Chamber of Commerce in Ukraine, Morgan Williams, President and CEO, U.S.-Ukraine Business Council, Hennady Chizhikov, President, Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce, Serhiy Haidaichuk, President and CEO of Club Ukraine, and Anna Derevyanko, Executive Director, European Business Association. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get going on this panel. As Johnny described, we have some up here. We have some in Ukraine online. Вітаємо вас. Oh, I got a screen right in front of me. Пане Чижиков, пані Янченко, пані Дерев'янко, вітаємо вас.
Дякую, вітаємо.
What we will do is, I have 3 questions to each panelist, and you'll have 2 minutes to answer each of them. But I'm not promising that we will have all the time to answer them with 2 minutes. We'll start with 2 minutes, and then we'll play by ear. But what I would like to do is start with Mr. Roman Kachur, alternate executive director of the World Bank, and basically we'll ask Roman if he can do a little summary as how the Ukrainian participants in World Bank see other countries helping and helping Ukraine to get perhaps more funds, how to multiply these funds and get Ukraine rebuilt. Because Roman is not part of the sort of associations of chambers as we represent, but he is with the big association, which is the World Bank. So Roman, please, to you.
Thank you, Zenon. Good morning, distinguished audience. I'm very pleased to be here, and I'd like to make 3 points with my opening remarks. First, how Ukraine has been doing in 2022, what is the outlook for 2023, and what are the support instruments that may be available to businesses and to the state. First, to start with 2022, I think everyone was impressed with the resilience of Ukrainian people, Ukrainian government, and Ukrainian businesses and financial sector. And Ambassador, chairman of the association, Goldy, made the reference to that, how Ukraine gracefully stood with the challenge that it faced. Government remained fully operational in Kiev, and it still is. Businesses continued operations. More than 70%, according to polls, still operate in Ukraine. And financial sector, both public and private, also remain fully operational. This doesn't come as granted. This all happened because Ukraine was better prepared, comparing even versus to the 2014 crisis when Russia first invaded Ukraine. Those who follow Ukraine may remember that back then currency devalued 300%. We had almost 50% inflation, while in 2022, the currency devaluation, for instance, to euro is less than 15%, despite the full-fledged war in Ukraine. Why this happened? Because Ukraine did a great job reforming itself. Ambassador Galadze acknowledged that. She witnessed probably this in Kiev. So reforms in many sectors, in agri-sector, energy sector, public finance, basically allowed to build the resilience and to withstood even such a great challenge as full-fledged Russian invasion of Ukraine. Obviously, Ukraine cannot fight alone, and we have a great support from international partners. Back in April, when we convened at the World Bank with all world leaders in finance, ministers of finance, and heads of international financial institutions, they all acknowledge that Ukraine needs $5 billion per month to keep the state operational. It's a huge amount. All our partners got back to work, and by now we mobilized, basically disbursed for Ukraine more than $23 billion. Another $7 billion will be disbursed by end of the year. So basically, the whole world stood up to support Ukraine, not only politically but also financially, and that allows for the economy to remain fully operational and sustainable. Half of 23 billion was channeled through the World Bank, and I'm extremely proud of that. That's not only the World Bank money, it's also the donors' money that were channeled through the World Bank, and we will continue these operations in the coming year. So what's ahead of us in 2023? Ukraine will still fight the war. In all our basic assumptions, the war will continue, and we will need continued support from our partners. The government of Ukraine and international partners estimate that Ukraine will need another 38 billion next year to keep the government operational. Basically 3 billion a month, slightly more than that. We already have signals from our largest partners like US, European Union, and IMF that they will keep on supporting Ukraine and keep the economy fully operational. But this is not enough. Last week I was in Kyiv. During my visit was one of the biggest strikes on the infrastructure, and 40% of Ukraine had a power outage, so people didn't have electricity like today. We visited cities like Bucha in Irpin nearby. We met with the mayor, and they brought us an example of partially destroyed building. The roof was destroyed in the building, and I asked how much is to repair the roof in the building, and they said like 5 million hryvnia. And I said, what happens if you won't repair the roof? Said, well, over the winter, the water will go through the building, all the building will get destroyed internally, all the pipes and etc. And we will need about 50 million hryvnia to repair the whole building, or maybe it will even need to be turned down. So basically, a factor of rehabilitation or rebuilding is 1 to 10, investing now versus investing or putting funds later. The same with the human capital. We see that more than 10 million people had to leave their homes, and if not supported, many of them will not return. So that will put Ukraine in the lower trajectory for decades versus now. That's why international partners, the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and many others acknowledge that rebuilding Ukraine has to start now. And we are seeking to mobilize up to 8 billion financing for 2023 for immediate rehabilitation projects, not only through the World Bank, but through other partners. During our visit in Kyiv, we met with President and Prime Minister. We offered the framework how to bring all partners together, and this dialogue is ongoing between all major partners and international financial institutions, with the main principle, Ukraine in the lead, so Ukraine have to participate and to drive the agenda, with demand-driven approach, when the financing is to be based on Ukraine needs, but not on the preferences of other donors, and also preserving the institutional independence of each partner. So each partner will remain operational within its own framework.
Please.
Yep. Okay, I'll finalize it. So this framework will be put in place for the next 2023. Obviously, Ukraine cannot absorb it itself. We will need a lot of support from foreign partners to help rebuilding and basically to utilize the financing. And we will need support from the private sector. Other instruments we will discuss later today will be put in place from the World Bank to support the private sector, like war insurance and special concessional lending to businesses in Ukraine. Thank you, Zenon.
Thank you, Roman. Okay, we'll start with ladies. We lost Halina, I hope just for a short period of time. So we'll start with Anna Derevyanenko. Anna, if you can spend 1 minute on introduction, but I will ask this question to all the panelists, and then if you can go into answering that question. Global economies are going through the roller coaster right now. How do your members manage to pivot and adjust to the new realities during the wartime in Ukraine? 1 minute
Thank
for
you, sir.
introduction, 2 minutes to answer to the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will try to fit into the schedule. When it comes to how companies cope, obviously the situation is very critical, but nevertheless not hopeless, because obviously we are polling and making surveys of our member companies on a regular basis, and we understand that majority of them, if not to say 100 days, either partially operating or fully operating. And they adjust to the new normality, and they understand they have no other choice. Obviously, such hits of critical infrastructure as today impact dramatically the business mood, sentiments, and as soon as such massive hits happen, for a few days, actually the business community rearranges, right? And even payments are not going, and I'm not meaning banking payments, I'm meaning that companies do not want to pay because they would like to see how the situation is going to develop. But overall, we see huge commitment, huge resilience, huge solidarity in the business community. And this is also sometimes demonstrated by the fact that even competitors help to each other produce, use the facilities, and they understand that we are all interconnected. And the other thing, which also appeared during these 9 months of the war, we see that the business community in Ukraine found global vector, global market very important for their development. And that's why we as European Business Association, which represents around 1,000 member companies in Ukraine, which actually create over 2 million jobs in the country and pay billions of hryvnias to the local budget, we decided that it's really time to create global business for Ukraine, Global Business for Ukraine Association, and we registered that in Switzerland. And the aim of that is to create and actually develop Ukraine-friendly business community. So I really advise everyone to just to look around on the website www.gb4u.org and see whether it is worthwhile for you to actually to become a part of this Ukraine-friendly business.
30 seconds, please. 30 seconds.
So I'm done. I'm done.
Thank you.
I saved you 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Gennady, but you were with two ladies first, so we'll ask now Halina Yanchenko to go next. Halina, the same question. Did you catch the question as I read it? Okay. Please, little introduction, 1 minute, and then 2 minutes for question. Thank you.
Okay. So first of all, I wanted to thank Canadian government and Canadian society for the great support that you provide for Ukraine, political, information-wise, and also practical support. And I'm very proud to note that actually Canada was showing an example to many other countries worldwide, to countries which used to think of themselves as leaders of this world. So Canada was among probably the first country who actually canceled their duty payments for Ukrainian export, and that's how it supported Ukrainian business, and we are very thankful for that. Canada was the first country in the world which changed its legislation in order to actually confiscate Russian assets and direct them for Ukrainian reconstruction, and that's what we are thankful for. Canadian society are an important part of this civilizational fight, and that is why we Ukrainians want you to be a part of this civilizational victory and reconstruction process. You know, when the war have started, and I was invited to many international interviews on various TV channels in US, Canada, and stuff like that. And I was telling things that people perceived very strangely. I said that the best humanitarian assistance that world can provide to Ukraine is heavy weapon. During the first weeks, it sounded really strange, but now it's obvious for everyone that only heavy weapon could actually stop that crisis, economic, humanitarian, and social crisis. And now I want to tell you another thing that might sound strange right now, but believe me, in half a year, it will be obvious for everyone. So the best input, the best assistance that any country, including Canada, can make for Ukrainian reconstruction is direct private investment, because it's an only input that will be sustainable and which will be really worth so. Zelensky team and me as a representative of president, we believe that the state politics should be all focused around a person, around human. And by the way, that's how we changed tremendously from Russia. And when we are talking about human and the need of a human, there are two basic needs: need of home and need of job. So while we will reconstruct our homes and residential buildings, residential neighborhoods of people, it's also very important to think and to work toward providing Ukrainians with jobs. And we are inviting Canadian business community, Canadian society to actually start thinking about it, about this investment, about join companies, join businesses with Ukraine.
Thank you.
As a government, we do
Halina.
a lot to create this kind of conditions for business and for private investment in reconstruction processes.
Thank you very much. Since they're not introducing themselves, I just want to repeat. Anna Derevianenko is the Executive Director of European Business Association, and Halina Yanchenko is the Secretary of National Investment Council of the President of Ukraine. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Gennady Chizhikov, who is President of Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce, and we as Canada Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce have a long history of cooperation, and I hope we continue further. The same question, Gennady, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Zenon. I'm very glad to have this conference. And for us, we know what Canada, a Canadian, paid and continue to pay big attention to Ukraine situation. But today we will speak about the economy. And from my point of view, we previous 30 years of our cooperation demonstrated that we have huge potentials, and we needed to due to this very critical situation what we have now due to the war, a potential of our future cooperation. And I would like to shortly say about the 5 more important moments. First of all, we needed investment, and Canada can be one of the most important investment in Ukraine. Ukraine will be the bridge to the Europe, and also what's important, many countries of the ex-USSR consider Ukraine like an example of the democracy, future, etc. And we are waiting the positive results of this war, our victory. Second one, for us, like for Chamber of Commerce, it's very important, small and medium-sized business. Please pay attention, not only big, but this type of business, because this is 75% of our workforce. This is 75% of our economy. It's very important for us. And small and medium-sized business demonstrated a huge potential in despite this situation in the economy, continuing to work and is quite positive. One more question. We need to pay more attention to the regional corporations. We have like a Chamber of Commerce, 25 regional Chamber of Commerce, and we would like to say very officially, very seriously, what every region in Ukraine has their own potential, their difference a little bit, but that's why we invited you to work in the region, on the level of region. As I know, in whole there are a lot of Ukrainians, and for example, as I know, the head of the Ternopil Council now, Mikhailo Golovko, we had a very good relation with many regions and this region as well. That's why I would like to attract attention of Canadian business to the regions. One more important questions with reforms. And your experience, reforms is very important. And we very hope what reforms will be continued during this very difficult period of time. Thank you very much. And I would like Zenon to say what we are ready to cooperate, and please consider Chamber of Commerce in all regions in this country like your partner, like a partner of Canadian business. We are very welcome.
Thank you very much. Next, I would like to ask Morgan Williams, President and CEO of U.S.-Ukraine Business Council. Again, we have a lot of cooperation between our two associations. And Morgan, thank you very much. I know it's a big holiday in U.S. tomorrow, family holiday, and you took your time to come here and participate in this forum. Please. 2.5 minutes, please answer the first question.
Thank you very much, Senator. We met about 20-some years ago, and we've worked together. You've been a great representative of Canada. We'd like to say that the Canadian-Ukrainian Business Council and the U.S.-Ukraine Business Council in Washington were two of the largest private country-specific trade associations in the world that are not headquartered inside Ukraine. So Canada and the United States are the top two, not headquartered completely inside Ukraine. We have many joint objectives. One, we promote investment in Ukraine. Secondly, we try to make Ukraine a better and easier place to do business. And we still have a lot of work to do. Three, of course, we support our members as they invest in Ukraine. And how are all of our members, and our members are not foreign corporations to Ukraine, they're international corporations. Foreign is a word that's 100 years old. When the British sailed into Hong Kong, we are international corporations. They invest in many countries. They invest in the country. They hire people from the country. They're not foreign. How have our members survived? Number one, most of them had plans of what to do in case Putin invested. Secondly, the priority was to protect their employees, to have a plan to keep their employees safe. Third was to keep in business and keep their employees hired and making money. Fourth was humanitarian assistance. The corporations that Zenon represents and that we represent, over 100 Fortune 500 companies, they donated hundreds of millions of dollars to charitable organizations. Many of them have their own, and many of them donate and create programs in the cities and the towns and villages where they work in Ukraine. And last, they're totally committed to Ukraine. Most of them were there in the 1990s. They didn't leave during the Orange Revolution. They didn't leave during the Revolution of Dignity. They didn't leave when Putin invaded the first time in 2014. They want to be in Ukraine. They have long-run plans for Ukraine. Ukraine is a part of their international strategy. So trade associations play a big role to keep these members informed, to keep their governments informed, and to promote international investment in Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Morgan. Before I introduce the next speaker, I just wanted to pick up on one thing. Yes, we're private organizations. We're not financed by governments. We live from the membership fees. So whoever in the audience is still not a member of CUCC, please do that. That's part of our survival. Thank you. All right, and last but not least, Serhiy Haidachuk, president of CO Club from Ukraine. Please.
Yeah. Good morning, dear colleagues. Thank you for your attention to the future of our country. So as far as I'm talking on behalf of Ukrainian entrepreneurs, on Ukrainian business leaders, I will share with you how we overcome all those challenges and difficulties. First, what I wanna tell you, Ukrainian business leaders today like an Iron Man, like a cybers, because the whole Ukrainian new history over the last 30 years, it's like one big crisis. So we went through all those crises and we are prepared. So Ukrainian entrepreneurs very adaptive, very resilient. Second, we have a moral duty. As far as we are responsible for the economic front, we understand that this front is also very important. That is why it gives us psychological strength. Third, this war in Ukraine broken down all the barriers in our minds, in our heads, and Ukrainian business today understand that there is only one way to survive. We have to go global. We have to expand our businesses all around the globe. That is why it is very important shift in our minds, because before the war, there were a lot of restrictions, fears, etc. Now we have no choice. We have to be global. Thank you very much once again for your support, and I finish.
Thank you, Serhiy. I also would like to mention that I noticed few of you mentioned SMEs in Ukraine, and I mean it's for every country, same in Canada. SMEs are the heart of economy and supporter of the economy. And I'm not sure if Canadian Ambassador Larissa Galadza is still here or not, but we did have a great project financed by Canadian government called QTIS project, Canada-Ukraine Trade and Investment Support Project. And we did inquire and we did ask if perhaps we can have QTIS 2, something that can continue on that. It was a great project supporting actually small and medium businesses in Ukraine. Okay, so we will move now to the second question. The second question is, we will talk about three sectors today at our conference: agro, energy, and infrastructure. Where do you see other future areas of growth and opportunities for Canadian businesses and investors in Ukraine? 2 minutes each, and we'll start again with Anna Derevyanenko, please.
Thank you. And I would like to use actually those 30 seconds from my previous question, because I realized that I actually missed to answer your question. I'm the Executive Director of European Business Association. I'm also co-founder of our Global Business for Ukraine. I'm also a member of Supervisory Board of Raiffeisen Bank, which gives me also understanding actually of the banking sector. So we also have within EBA, European Business Association project, Unlimited Ukraine, which unites around 5,000 private entrepreneurs. So all in all, this is some part of, and now I'm also a member of some boards of the think tanks and different NGOs in Ukraine and in the world. When it comes to the sectors, I think that it's important to say that nowadays, after such a hit of critical infrastructure and everything in the country, I think not only those three sectors which you mentioned would be the opportunity for success, for successful development. I think actually you can take whatever sector you like, where you feel your strengths and feel your advantages, competitive positions. and actually come to Ukraine and make your business there. But it's necessary to prepare for this step already now, because obviously it takes time in order to prepare for the new reality. And actually, I really encourage you to work with different institutions, with different business community representatives, so that to understand what's going on in Ukraine in case you don't know, and actually make your choice. We will be there to help you there. But obviously, in terms of, again, coming to sectors, if to pick, I think that one of the things which is missing definitely is IT and creative sector. Digital economy in Ukraine is really fascinating. So I think that it's necessary to look at this sector particular, also different types of med tech, food tech, whatever it's possible in the technology field would be definitely something which is possible to develop with help of Canadian companies and to make the floor for their development and for their success. So actually, whatever you like, the floor is yours. The horizons are unlimited. It is like really unique time when almost everything is destroyed. And I think it's necessary to make it an effort to build really excellent objects, best projects possible, so that to unite in Ukraine the most modern technologies and ideas, so that Ukraine can really somehow can become, then Ukraine will become the most developed country in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. And I did add 30 seconds.
No, again for the next time.
Halina Yanchenko, can we ask you to answer the same question, please? Thank you.
Well, I can agree with Anna, and I can say that actually agriculture, energy, but also technologies, IT, are the sectors that have probably the best potential in Ukraine. Because before the war, we were, as Ukraine, as government, as society, as state, we were quite reluctant about our economics, and that was our big fault. Now, war have actually forced us to face the new challenges, the challenges with logistics, challenges with actually new jobs, and that is why it means that we can't live like we used to live. And that's why during the war, National Investment Council at the presidency have started to develop a number of reforms, how to actually attract investment and create more added value products. Agricultural sector is probably the most dynamic, has the most perspective, because before the war, 42% of Ukrainian export was agriculture. 80% out of this amount were just raw materials. And it means that we have the best potential. So anyone who comes to Ukraine and who starts business in agro-processing has fantastic access to raw materials, but also to a very good human capital. We've developed 6 typical projects in agriculture processing in different spheres, starting with quite specific like acid development and ending with bioethanol or biodiesel and stuff like that. But for us, it's also very important not only to engage investors and to make an advertisement of various sectors, but to create a comfortable conditions for these investors and also cover their fears or their questions. And I want to take this opportunity and actually to thank Roman Kachur, who is also present at this panel discussion, for his great work in establishing or promoting their investment insurance, military investment insurance. This is a unique product which will be probably available for Ukraine only. So we are once again in a unique country where the biggest insurance and economic organizations of this world are providing military investment insurance to cover those fears that investors have and let them just work, calculate their mathematics, put together their business plans, and start planning their future investment projects in Ukraine.
Thank you very much. Hennady, please, the same question, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Zenon. First of all, I would like to attract attention of the audience what's the future of Ukraine in the European Union. This is very important. This is a strategic question. Second one, we have free trade agreement with the Canada. We have free trade agreement with the European Union. This is a basement for the future cooperation. I would like to attract attention what's the future of Ukraine. It will be absolutely new on the base of the new technology, sustainable development. That's why when we speak about the agro sector, we need to speak not only about the production of agro or processing, but about the organic and etc. Also, the future of Ukraine is absolutely independence of Russia energy. That's why we will focus on the alternative energy, green energy. This is very important. Also, sustainable development, it means about our nature resources. First of all, forest, and we needed to be one of the most important players in this growing and production of the products from the forest, etc. And two more interesting direction, what from my point of view can be interesting. This is subcontraction. And we produce and sell products for not only for European market, but for Canadian and American market as well. We have all the potential for this. And final question, don't forget about the education. Ukraine is a very educated country, but we needed new knowledges where Canada has one of the what's most important and interesting system of education. First of all, in business education, and we will be very interested in this in next 10, 20 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hennady. And yes, I agree. We should remember that triangle that Ukraine has free trade agreements with Canada and Ukraine and European Union. Lots of things can be set up by Canadian companies in Ukraine, and then you got a very close market, open market, right next door to European Union. All right, thank you, Mr. Morgan Williams. Please, 2 minutes.
Zenon, thank you very much. As you know, for the international corporations from Canada and from the United States, I'd like to say, you mentioned energy, but I'd like to say that the energy market in Ukraine is basically closed. It's totally monopolistic. You know, you've been in the energy business. You cannot go there and invest from the United States or from Canada. Not one large international energy company is invested in Ukraine today. So it's a huge problem. It's monopolistic. Ukrenaftogaz gas needs to be broken up. They only like the private sector. If you work for them, they do everything possible to keep the private sector out of Ukraine. The energy sector is a major problem. It's not open to the international private sector. Next, agriculture. The biggest problem agriculture has in Ukraine is the Ukrainian railroads. The railroad has 200,000 or 300,000 employees. It's a monopolistic state company. It's inefficient. It's not modern. It's not going anywhere. It costs too much to ship. You can't ship grain. You can't ship it into Poland because the tracks are a different size. The biggest problem that agribusiness has is the total ineptness of the Ukraine railroad system, and they don't want investors there. They've turned away investors from the United States and other places. They don't want private investors in the railroad system. The main thing that Canadian companies and U.S. companies can do is get involved in imports and exports. Ukraine is going to have to import hundreds of millions of dollars of products to rebuild. They need more exports to get hard currency. They need finished agricultural products. They need manufacturing products. So companies that invest in anything that relates to exports and imports, that's going to be a top priority. And we want to say that the companies that are already in Ukraine will probably put up 75% of the money to rebuild Ukraine, plus the international financial organizations. So don't be running around always looking for who's going to come to Ukraine. The people that are there, been there for 30 years, they're the ones that's going to rebuild Ukraine. The private sector is going to rebuild Ukraine. the government of Canada, United States, and Ukraine, and the international financial organizations need to do more to support the private investor.
Thank you, Morgan. I thought I asked the question where the growth is going to be, and you started saying, don't go there, so I got scared, but at the end you actually came to the right conclusion. So you still said, go to Ukraine. Yes, energy sector, we're in it since year 2000, and I'll tell you, a lot has changed, a lot has happened. It is still complicated, but I mean, what it was in 2000 and what it is right now, it's a huge, huge change, and it's a positive change. So I would say that, yes, there are still some issues, but Ukraine is making beautiful, beautiful strides and steps forward. So we need to go and need to invest. Thank you. The same question, please, Sergey.
As for industries, I would pay attention to military industry. I am absolutely sure that after the war, Ukraine will play a very important role in the European new security order, with its the biggest army in the Europe and the most prepared army. And I am sure that military industry will be one of the major industry in Ukraine, and this industry connected to all other industries. And you can find dozens of opportunities and niche within this industry. As for the rest, I am fully agree with Anna that today Ukraine is completely or partially destroyed. So you can find or you can choose any direction, any industry, any segment, and you will have good business in 3, 4, 5 years. But I am sure that in 10 years, in 5-10 years, Ukraine will become one of the most attractive startup in the world. And I have 5 reasons for that. We have 5 opportunities that we never had as a country. And all those 5 opportunities will bring us to this new role. First, global recognition. Today, the whole world knows Ukraine. Second, global brand of the country that associates with very right values. Third, the Western bloc of countries such as USA, Canada, European Union, Great Britain are ready to be our strategic partners in long term. Fourth, social capital. Today, Ukrainians within the country and globally united as never before. And it generates a cosmic social capital. It generates a lot of trust, horizontal cooperations, etc. And fifth, and the most important, Ukrainians paying so huge price today that we have very strong desire to show the rest of the world that we are able to build very successful country. That is why I invite you all today to join to us to start relationships, because tomorrow together we will create very big and successful story. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergey. Yes, yesterday in a little reception that we had, we heard also from few people military as one area that could be very, very big and very important in Ukraine. Roman, 2 minutes, and then we'll go quickly to the last question. We're going to move it fast.
I'll try to make it even shorter. I completely agree with the point Halina Yanchenko made and others picked up, that the private sector will be a main driving force to rebuild Ukraine. But in the meanwhile, the risks in Ukraine remain quite high, and obviously the private sector is reluctant to invest. So the public sector will have to take a lead. I mentioned about the 8 billion package. Out of it, 3 projects, 500 million each, will be implemented by the World Bank. We expect them to be approved by in December. They are in the energy sector, in infrastructure, and healthcare. Basically to restore power, to restore connectivity, and to restore public services in the health sector. All these projects will be funded by the bank and other partners, donors. There will be oversight by the international financial institutions. So all international companies which have solutions are ready to help Ukrainians to restore connectivity, to restore power. Welcome to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Roman. Okay, I was told they were already on the yellow light and very close to the red light. You know what that means? But I still negotiate 1 minute per speaker, and the last question, which is a little bit long on the paper, but basically we want to hear, how does your organization influence the policy and law changes by Ukrainian government? What do you do to influence those? 1 minute each. So let's start again with Anna, please.
Thank you. Actually, our members advocate their concerns and proposals to the government through the EBA committees. We have 26 committees within the EBA, which are split into industrial nature and also professional nature. And just to give you figures, for this year, we addressed to the government around 300 initiatives. And thanks to the government of Ukraine, 66% of them have been resolved in favor of business. When it comes to individual concerns of our member companies, we transmitted to the government around 200 different concerns and proposals. And again, because of the actually a huge support from the governmental authorities and understanding that it's necessary to work together, 85% of them have been resolved in favor of business. What I would like to say, first of all, business is active, it voices concerns. And second thing, government is receptive to listen and actually make a change, make an action. This is one minute.
Thank you. Halina, please.
As Roman and Morgan and myself have noted already, in rebuilding Ukraine, we trust in business, trust in private investors. And that is why what National Investment Council and Presidency is trying to do, Ukrainian government and all other state bodies, is actually to create conditions, tools, and opportunities for private business to become a part of reconstruction process. For example, one of the reform that Parliament is going through right now is the reform of public-private partnership, because while a number of infrastructural objects are ruined, we believe that the reconstruction of them should be made not with state funds and not by the state or state companies, but by private companies. For example, in my opinion, medical or healthcare sector will be the best one for this public-private partnership. We need to reconstruct a lot of hospitals, but also there are a totally new demand or totally new niches and sectors in Ukraine. For example, the need for prosthetics and rehabilitation. And we really invite private companies, private sector, those who have best know-how and technologies to come to Ukraine and actually build these networks, build these objects, provide these services, and do this kind of activities in Ukraine.
Thank you, Halina. Hennady, please, 1 minute.
Thank you. We have two directions. First of all, we are like an organization who has a very strong international connection with our partners, chambers in all the world. We would like to create some select coalition to support Ukraine in our recovery period of time. This is with Euro chambers, with World Chamber Federation, International Chamber of Commerce. This is very important. Second one, we are very sure, together with our partners, for example, we create a coalition of business association for modernization of Ukraine. we consider what's not one strongest organization, businesses can do reforms alone. We need to unite in this very difficult and special period of time together with another business association and to be like one front to support the government, to support president in the reforms. We absolutely sure what the best reforms is needed not postpone after the war period. We need to start with this liberal reform in just now, in the period of the war, just to make the growing of our economy is very fast just after the war with support of our international partners.
And it,
Thank you. The number one goal of our business association for all of our international companies is to break up the monopolies. Monopolies are the biggest restraint to the growth of Ukraine. Public monopolies and private monopolies. And you know what the private monopolies are, and there's hundreds of them. So we need to break up the monopolies over there in order to rebuild Ukraine and open up the doors and the gates to more companies, and more companies will make investments. And the number one question I'm asked is, are they going to break up the monopolies? And so to finalize, I'd say the U.S. business community, working with Canada, the EU, NATO, everybody, working together. The number one goal is to throw Putin out now.
thank you, Morgan. Great. Sergey, please.
Yeah. As a business association, we do a lot of various initiatives, but what I would like to share. I represent mostly new Ukrainian business, not oligarchs, not foreign business, but new Ukrainian business. And I see that our country going through a crucial historical moment. And a lot will depend on the actions of Ukrainian business. And I think that Ukrainian business should play a more bigger role. Ukrainian business today should create a clear vision for the whole country, where we are going, what we would like to achieve. Ukrainian business should impact on crystallizing and consolidation of new Ukrainian elite. This war is showing us who is part of this elite. But we should finish this process. Without creating, crystallizing new Ukrainian elite will be difficult to achieve any success. That is why we are working now on these directions. And I think it's very important and crucial. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergey. Morgan, I love your idea. I love your idea. What you said is absolutely true. We got to get rid of Putin. That's number one. But we don't have any more time. I would like to thank Halina, Anna, and Hennady joining us from Kyiv. Please stay safe. We heard what has happened today. Again, attacks. Stay safe. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Sergey. Thank you, Roman. All the best. Glory to Ukraine. Slava Ukraini. Thank you.